AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. We are here. I am Aubrey. That is Will Washington. And we are here to talk about all the amazing things that happen at All Elite Wrestling. I am, at the time of recording, in a hotel room in Houston. So I don't happen to have any Upper Deck cards on me, but I know they're our title sponsor of the podcast. So, Will, you got any you can show off these beautiful
Oh, of course I do. And yes, folks.
Your desk filled with them, aren't they?
Look, I've got, hold on, I want to pull up really quick. This is how much I love our good friends over at Upper Deck. But this is just one stack of cards I have here.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God.
this is what we do. I have multiple, and that is because Upper Deck is the official sponsor of AEW Unrestricted, and you can collect your favorite wrestlers in 2025 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. You can unwrap autograph, memorabilia, or premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. Not only do I have those cards, I've got booklets full of them. I've got packs here. We've got the Metal Universe cards. I always love these cards. These are the newest of the 2025 Upper Deck AEW, and
right, I've got packs at home that I haven't even opened yet that I just save for each new episode. I'm like, let's do a little ASMR and open up a new pack, and it's like, thanks to Upper Deck for always sending us new stuff. One of the things, if I remember correctly, from this pack is they've got those fun little trios cards, which highlight a lot of the fun trios that we have in AEW, and we've talked about it before. We've got our trios champions, we've got all of this amazing trios history from Ring of Honor to AEW. There's so much going on, and there's so many incredible stories that we can tell through this. So I'm excited for our guest today. Speaking of trios and stories, who's our guest, Will?
I'm actually really excited about this one, Aubrey, because today, one of the things I love about what we get to do on the show is that, we always give, the show is always the opportunity for you to really get to know the faces, not just in AEW, but also in Ring of Honor. And especially when somebody new comes along whose story is just getting to unfold, and we get to kind of see the beginning stages of somebody's career. And that is why I am excited that we are actually joined by Stori Denali. Stori, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Speaking of stories, you're getting to tell it here. Sure, you never heard that one.
Sorry, it cut out for a second. What'd you say?
I said, getting to tell a story, and I'm sure you've never heard that one.
Well, we're very, very happy to have you here today. You are one of the newest members of the Premier Athletes. So you're in there with Ari Daivari, you're in there with Tony Nese, you've got Mark Sterling yelling, which I'm very sorry about that because he's kind of annoying from time to time. So you're doing the Lord's work by hanging out with us. But yeah, it's great because now we get to see Premier Athletes in sort of a new setting where we're seeing a lot of mixed trios and whatnot happening now. So I want to kind of start with the big question of how did you end up with the Premier Athletes?
That's a good question that I'd like to ask myself as well. I feel very blessed. It all happened so quick. Honestly, I went to a show in Philly as an extra, and I was there for 2 days. And on the first day, John Cruz came up to me. He's like, "You're joining the Premier Athletes tomorrow." And I was like, okay, that's some big news. Thanks. And then that day I was watching, and it was just really cool to soak in. They had a match that day as well, to soak in I'm really joining them tomorrow. So, I have no words. I don't know how I got here. I'm really grateful. And it seems like a dream. It's unreal that this is happening in real life.
And as you mentioned, it did all happen so fast. It's really all been very fast for you in the sense of, we're talking about the beginning stages of your wrestling career. We're really just at the very beginning of it. What exactly, let's talk about your background and how, because, as we mentioned, you're part of the Premier Athletes, and a big part of the appeal of the Premier Athletes is that all of them have athletic backgrounds, and that is something you are no stranger to. Kind of talk about, give people your background as far as where you come from athletically and what brought you into professional wrestling.
Yeah. Buckle up. This one's long, but I started playing volleyball when I was really young, 9 years old. And I honestly just did it for the love of the game. It was never in my mind thinking, I need to play college. I need to play here. I was really just having fun. And I got recruited really young in 8th grade. The rules are different now. Now it's junior year, I think, before college coaches can reach out to you. But in 8th grade, I started getting letters, and I honestly ignored them because I was like, I don't know what college is. I don't know what I want to do. I'm scared. And so I just ignored them for like 2 years. And then I got to my sophomore year in high school, and it kind of became crunch time. Like, people were starting to commit. They weren't going to hold my scholarships for forever. And I knew I wanted to play in the Big Ten, so I narrowed it down pretty quickly to that. And my final two were Purdue and Ohio State. And Ohio State just took it away with the vibes. Like I said, you have no idea when you're that young. I didn't know what I wanted in college. I was just literally, I showed up and I was like, these girls seem cool and it seems like a good vibe here. Good city. And then when I got there, it turned out to be literally the best thing ever. Even more than I imagined. There were so many moments I was like, oh, I wouldn't even thought that this acai bowl place would be my favorite thing in the entire world. But now I
Right?
get to have
Oh,
it
dude,
every
good
single day.
bowl.
Right? So then my freshman and sophomore year, we struggled a little bit. We had a lot of injuries on the team, me included. I got there and I started my freshman year, but I had a stress fracture in my foot. Within, it was like a weird time frame because we had a bunch of preseason games, so the games are loaded up in the beginning of season. So I had technically played a third of the season in the first 3-ish weeks, so I couldn't redshirt. But yeah, so freshman year, I have this hot start. I'm feeling like excited to get going, and then they tell me my season's over with my foot injury. And then that was we might get a little traumatic here, but I gained a lot of weight and was in school for biology, which was a mistake at the time. Let me tell you, I'm not a bio major. So I was on the hardest schedule of my life. Like, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. for workouts, go to practice, do an extra workout because I had gained the weight that I was supposed to lose, go to class till 6, 7 p.m. and then do my homework and go back to bed and do it all over again.
Yep.
So I think that was definitely one of the most challenging parts of my life, especially, I don't know, everything was so new and I was just, for everyone, very busy. And then we got a new coach junior year? Yeah, junior year. And I was part of the coaching select committee, so I got to sit down on the interviews. It was really cool. And that was COVID as well, that first year. So we were practicing in masks and no fans, as the wrestlers understand. So
It was a good time.
yeah. And then my senior year, sorry, I haven't really revisited the story in a minute.
No, it's great.
Going into my senior year, I had honestly sat a lot my those middle years. After the injury, I played a little bit and then it was kind of on and off. We were all rotating positions. And coming up on my senior year was going to be my first year of having my position solid and in lock. And right before season and summer workouts, I landed weird and tore my meniscus in my knee, and was in my head that I couldn't give up because this was finally my time. I had worked these 3 years so hard to get to this moment. And so we have a 2-week break after I land weird. I come back and it's preseason. And I was talking to my trainer and they're like, let's just get an MRI. And I tore my meniscus off the root, and on MRIs for those, 30% don't show up on MRIs. So the doctor was like, it might be torn. It might be not, it might be fine. It might just be cartilage damage. But if we go in there and see, you'll come out and you'll either be out for 2 weeks or you'll be out for 6 to 9 months. And I was like, so we're not going in. Is anything going to be worse? And yeah, so I decided to not and try and play through it. And I played on it for 3 months. And yeah, I played until I couldn't walk. And I would land weird once, have to set out of practice for a week. I remember the last time of that. We were at Northwestern and I landed weird in the second set or something. We had Penn State coming up that next Sunday. And so I sat through practice all week because I couldn't walk, couldn't jump. I seriously it was concerning, actually. Why I didn't call it sooner, but whatever. And
Love
then,
the game.
yeah, it's just that athlete mentality, dude. You think it's everything. And it is at at that time, So we get to Sunday and my coach is like, if you don't practice today, you're not playing in the game. And I'm like, understandable, because I haven't played for a week. And first jump, land weird again. I have a mental breakdown, go in the locker room, and she comes in there and she's like, yeah, I think it's time you take care of yourself. And I got the surgery, and that was really hard because we were good. We were playing really well, and I missed the last month of season or whatever, and spent the next year recovering, and was still kind of in the recovery process for my 5th year, which was kind of a very humbling experience, going in as a 5th year senior. I was a captain whenever I was hurt, and it's like, oh, well, now I'm going to be in this different role. How do I change my mindset to still be a really great teammate? And actually have fun, refine the love for the game, because I had spent the last year hating practice because I was in so much pain. So yeah, sorry, that was a very long-winded college career.
No,
yeah, and that's why I wear the knee brace now. So a lot of people ask me about that. My knee is healthy, because basically, in short, the doctors had told me nothing would get worse if I played on it, but my cartilage damage is what took me out pain-wise. So the knee brace is to protect the cartilage. So it's like my meniscus is healed. But yeah, so I have the knee brace now for that reason. And I get that question a lot. So
it's nice to have just like that sense of security too, when you're in the ring, of like knowing that it's something there that you just don't want to like re-injure, having been through all of that emotional turmoil of being injured and having to sit out. It's like anything you can sort of do to have that like cushion of support, highly recommend and totally support. And I'm just enthralled by your conversation so far and just hearing your background. And I know that there's a lot more coming up, like how the hell we move into wrestling. We're going to find out more following the break. So stay tuned here on AEW Unrestricted.
AEW Unrestricted. It's Will Washington. It's Aubrey Edwards. And we are here with Stori Denali, a member of the Premier Athletes. And of course, we've been talking about her athletic background. And the funny thing is, when you look at Stori Denali, I think, and you probably hear this a lot, but you almost, was it an expectation for you to be an athlete? Because, when you look at your IG bio, it says 6'3" on a bad day.
Yeah.
What exactly does a good day look like for you?
It depends on the day. I'm up there. I can tell you that much. I'm up there.
Damn.
You don't want to see me on a good day,
No. Oh, buddy. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw you backstage, and it was like, oh, she's tall. She's got a future in this. If no one has told her yet, like there's a lot, like wrestling has expanded a lot, and you can have people who are kind of on the shorter side be really successful. I mean, like look at even just Tony Nese. Like I know he's kind of been like a cruiserweight for a long time, and he's not traditionally the same height as we've seen like old school wrestlers, but like you blow those guys out of the water. Like I'm sorry. Like you're towering over Daivari and Nese both. And I'm kind of wondering if that had anything to do with you getting into wrestling, because we talked about your volleyball career, but like how did we make the turn? How do we make the turn to wrestling?
Yeah. Honestly, I say this a decent amount because it's true. I was kind of a personality hire captain in a way, I brought the vibes to practice. I was an entertainer. And that didn't make me any better at volleyball. I was good at volleyball, obviously, but, bringing the personality didn't make me a better volleyball player. And one day, I didn't grow up watching wrestling. I'd seen it because my dad would watch. I thought wrestlers were cool, but I never had clicked in my head that real people do this and you start somewhere. And one day it just clicked in my head that you can start somewhere. And I was like, this is exactly what I need in my life. I wanted to keep the physical side of what I was doing, but also be able to bring more, just the creative side of wrestling is so exciting for me. And I had that in college on my team, but I wasn't able to show it. Obviously it was fun to interact with my teammates and have those relationships, but I think that's what really drew me into wrestling.
What, were you a big watcher of wrestling prior to that?
No, my life was straight volleyball until I graduated. A little before, obviously, it was probably my junior or senior year of college. that I decided this is what I want to do. And so then a little bit, but before that, I just knew the basics. I've watched, but I didn't know what moves were or what was going on.
Yeah, someone says suplex, you're like, I don't know what the hell that is. Like,
Yeah.
I was very much in the same boat for a very long time.
Yes.
We're just like, I don't know. It's entertaining as hell, but like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I just know whether it's a good story or not.
Yes.
So how did like, I'm sure you told your teammates at one point, like, yeah, volleyball is cool and all, but like, I want to become a professional wrestler. Like, what is their response to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think almost everyone in my life's response was like, what? Are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm serious. So I think they were shocked, but at the same time, all of them were so supportive and told me instantly, like, oh, you'd be so great at that. I'm so excited to see what you can do. So my relationship with my teammates was so amazing. I had such a great team and such a great staff in college. I'm so grateful for it. So they're all really supportive and continue to be supportive. So yeah, I'm just grateful. And we're going back to Columbus soon, which I'm really excited for.
Yes.
So yeah, looking forward to that. But
Hell yeah.
So, what was the point that it all kind of clicked for you that made you decide, okay, this isn't just something that's a possibility. This is a career I can pursue. When did you decide to start training and truly like diving in?
yeah, my whole wrestling career, honestly, I don't know if you guys are about vibes and signs, but it's played out in such a crazy way. Right as I was deciding that I wanted to wrestle, the WWE was doing their campus tours or whatever they were doing. So they stopped at Ohio State, made some connections there. I went to a tryout and then started training on the independent scene after the tryout back by my hometown. And I think that part of my life was a very weird, because you're coming off of college facilities and college, just I was living volleyball
You
at its
have the
highest point.
resources. Yeah.
Yes. And then I go to have these connections to this like other great place with good resources, and then I go to where I started training on the independent scene. As everyone on the independent scene knows,
Yeah.
how some of the schools are, it's definitely a big change. And so I'm so grateful for that the experience I've had. I think it was extremely humbling in a great way. It opened my eyes to how big the wrestling world really is. I think before you're into it, you have no idea. There's a group of good companies on top, and maybe a few people do it like every once in a while. But I'm like, wow, there's independent shows at every city, every weekend, and there's so many training schools. So yeah, I was as much of like a roller coaster that time in my life was. And I moved back home, which was also a very humbling experience. I was very independent in college, and now I'm back to the bottom of wrestling. And I think it's so strange because in wrestling, it's different because everybody you're training with is at a different level. And in volleyball, I grew up training at the same age group with all of my teammates. And so I could kind of gauge like, okay, am I good? Am I not? Is this for me? I'm getting good. I'm getting kills. I'm like, all right, this is fine. I might get somewhere with this. And with wrestling, you're training with people that have been in the business for 10 years, 3 years, 2 years, 6 months. And there's almost no way to gauge like, am I horrible, guys? Like, am I good? What is going on here? Like, I'm scared to do this flip, you know? And it was just a very weird transition for me. And I think there was a long period of my time that I didn't know if this was for me. I loved it, but it was a very frustrating, very confusing. And on top of it, just everyone in my life has been very supportive, but obviously there's the part of, oh, well, are you going to get a real job? Are you going to do real things in life? Are you going to use your degree? And in my head, I'm like, no. But like, this is what I'm going to make this happen. Like, I want this to work. So, honestly, it was a battle of subconscious me telling myself I'm good enough to make it and I can do it and I can put in the work and I'll get there. And then obviously I'm blessed with, like you said, like the height and stuff like that. But that balanced with the questions of, is this for me? Do I have what it takes? Because it's a whole different breed than normal, like volleyball sport type
Right.
activities. So yeah, I don't know if it ever completely hit me, but I feel like deep down I have this feeling that this is for me and that I know that I can make it, but obviously there's the doubt that's always, creeping in.
It's fascinating because I'm listening to you tell this conversation and I'm like, oh my God, I had that same thought when I was getting into wrestling because I had not been doing this for very long before AEW contacted me. I think I had it was in my second year, right after like the first Double or Nothing. So it's one of those like, am I good? Do I deserve this? Like, what's happening? Because there's people that have been doing this for so much longer. Why are they not getting asked to do it? And it's almost like a weird imposter syndrome in that
Yes,
case.
dude.
But I think the vibes that you're talking about having are the thing that actually kind of help you overcome that, where you're like, yeah, I'm here, I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure like how I'm going to get there, but I know I'm going to enjoy the journey. And I think it's that positive attitude that ultimately gets you the spot because it's not just the height, it's not just the skill, it's also like how great you are in the locker room, right? Like that's a big component of it. And I don't think people really fully realize that. And I remember the first day I met you, we're chit chatting, and I don't even remember if you were in the locker room, but I just turned to Madison and was like, she's friggin' awesome. Like immediately I'm like, this girl, it belongs here. She's great. She's good vibes. Like she's going to be a great addition to our locker room. I love it. So you have this tryout, you have this, intro to wrestling, and it's funny because a lot of these buildings on the indies, it's like, is this building condemned? I don't actually know. So you're doing all this stuff, and then at one point you end up in Philly, doing extra talent. But like, how did the connection start? Because I know you said you had made some connections. So how did AEW contact you? Like, at what point? Like, what brought you to the point of John Cruz saying, hey, you're going to be on the Premier Athletes today? Because that's kind of a big jump. Let's fill in the gap a little bit.
Dude, I literally have chills. I can't. So crazy. I also, in my wrestling journey, I started wrestling like, people ask me, how long have you been wrestling? I don't, I got to do some math. Bear with me. All right.
Right,
so I started in March of 24. I tore my labrum in my shoulder in August of 2024. So I had like a couple months of wrestling. Then I recovered.
You're like an X-Man or something with the amount you can come back from injury.
My left side of my body is quite literally cursed. Like my foot, my knee, my shoulder. I'm like, perfect, and then I'm in wrestling and everyone's going after, which is even better. But yeah, so I'm like, maybe that's a sign it's meant for me, but so then I come back from my injury in April of, was that this year? Yeah, this year. Wow.
This year.
What the heck? So yeah, I literally have I'm so new, it's sickening. But then once I had those first few matches back, I reached out to Sean, the extra talent coordinator, because I'm a DMer. I'm gonna slide in the DMs, and I still am. I will slide into the DMs for like promotions and anything. I'm not too good for that, So
you're not gonna know if you don't ask.
Exactly. And so I sent him some footage, and then a couple weeks passed by. So I don't know if he just eventually saw it or if he saw like something else on Instagram and saw that I DM'd him or what the deal was. But then he reached out to me about coming to Cincinnati, which was also
that's the day I first remember you was Cincinnati. Yes. In because we did those back-to-back tapings. It was the Dynamite and Collision tapings we did.
Yep. And so it's actually crazy because my older sister's best friend from high school lives in Cincinnati. So I got to just drive down and stay with her, which was so fun and comforting because obviously I was so nervous. And the first day, this is so, like, I just can't even. This story is so insane. And I think it's crazy that it ended up being that location because if the setup wasn't exactly how it was, like maybe things wouldn't have worked out the way they did. But in short, the talent viewing was like right in front of Gorilla, like right by Gorilla. So where Tony sits and all the things. And it was Dynamite, 1, 2, 3 of the final match. And someone comes up to me and they're like, Tony wants to talk to you. And I'm like, like, Tony Khan told me? Like, Tony told me he wants to talk to me. Okay. So I'm like, dee over there. And he just was like, where are you from? What's your name? How long have you been wrestling for? And he goes, you have a match tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Let me leave because I'm scared. But then, so that whole night, I was literally shitting my pants, like, and not even the whole night, the whole morning, the whole next day, all the things. And so, yeah, the next day comes and I'm anxious all morning trying to, figure out, but I don't want to ask too many questions. Like someone had come up, I think Sean came up to me, he's like, oh, I heard you have a match today. And I'm like, yeah, like that's what I was told, but I don't know yet. Like, I haven't heard anything. He's like, well, when Tony says something, he means it. Like, you're having a match. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm having a match. And then, I had a quick match in Ring of Honor before the show. And I was so nervous. I blacked out. I still do all the time, blacked out the whole match. But I felt like good about it. Ari Alexander was who I was working in that match. She was really great as well. And I had talked to her like the day before and, so it was, she made it as comforting as, it could have been. Sorry, my dog.
Mhm.
I have my dog at
That's
work.
okay. This is a pet-friendly show.
Oh, thank you. She's the cutest ever. Okay, I'll have to show you guys. Okay, maybe she doesn't sound the cutest ever. Vogue. Vogie, come here. But hold on, dog break. Sorry.
Yes,
Come here,
dog
Here we
break.
go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here.
Gotta have more
She's
pets. in the
huge.
podcast. Oh my god, how big is this dog?
She
It's
is
a gigantic
Christ,
dog.
hold on, man. And she's like 50 pounds. Like mother, like daughter. We are both large.
She's 4'1" on a good day.
Yeah, she's under 50 pounds on a good day.
Yes. Oh my god.
And a friend, she's like average weight is like 18 to 22 or something. I think
Very
she's
small.
mixed with like American Bulldog and whatever. Okay.
Right.
Anyways, that is Vogue. She is my queen. So, okay. So we have the match. And I mean, it's just, I was honestly just so adrenaline. I couldn't even really process anything. And at the end of that show, I was given the Philly dates. So they hit me with like 6 dates. That was also a very strange moment that I was like, wait, what is happening here?
Yeah, you've moved up all of a sudden. Now you've gone from the indies to the big time.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here, man? And it was also weird timing because I had my shoot job is very heavy in the summer. I work for a summer baseball team. So we had a lot of games in summer and it was after season and I was going to go down to Florida to train. And it literally fit perfectly between that Cincinnati taping and the first Philly taping. Like I learned so much and felt like, I mean, I'm never 100% like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. But like, I really appreciated that I had those 2 weeks to like, just train 5 days a week to just, feel good going into Philly. And then I literally flew from Orlando to Philly. And that was that first day where John told me.
And you find out you're part of the premier athletes. Everything's different.
And I was like, what is going on, dude? And I was still in the mindset of trying to not get ahead of myself. Like I didn't want to get too excited and let myself down. So I'm like, this is so interesting. Like an extra is joining the premier athletes. And then it's like the day later, it's like, oh, you're not an extra anymore. I'm like, oh,
yep.
Well, that's fucking awesome. Oh, I mean, well, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I was like trying to fight the acceptance of like, this has really happened to me for a while. It was crazy.
It's a wild story, but it's honestly like a very similar story to a lot of people in wrestling because it's just one of those like, how did I get here? What is happening all of a sudden? And you sort of have to just trust the process because you're never going to feel ready. You just kind of have to do it. And it's just like, okay, cool. I'm on ROH now and I'm choke slamming motherfuckers. Like we're doing this. Cool. Awesome. Great.
Yeah. Literally that.
Yeah, it's wild, and this whole story has been wild, and I'm sure this last segment's going to be wild, just like the other two. So hang tight. We got to take a quick break here on AEW Unrestricted, but coming back, we're still talking with Stori Denali. AEW Unrestricted, we got Aubrey, we got Will, and we got Stori. And we're listening to an incredible story from Stori about how she went from volleyball at a collegiate level to now wrestling on ROH with the premier athletes. And I want to talk a little bit more about that because I know those guys are extremely supportive of you and just trying to give opportunities. Like we were talking beforehand, and like Ari Daivari was the one that reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you get Stori on the podcast?" And it's like, that's the kind of guys that you want to be paired with in wrestling, the ones that are looking out for you and kind of making sure that you're doing what you can to get your name out there, but also like, you know, protecting you and making sure you're not being thrown to the wolves and all that sort of stuff. But then also seeing like you and I finally got to work together and like they're doing all these crazy stuff in the ring and you're the one who's doing the finish. And it was freaking cool. And I'm like, man, this girl she's got a really, really bright future. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like working with Ari Daivari and Tony Nese.
Dude, another one of those things. I'm like, how is this real life? Like, I just feel so blessed, and like, it just makes me speechless and like ill how amazing this is all happening for me. You know, like the path that they're helping me walk is insane. I think exactly what you said. They're doing everything in their power to like take care of me, which makes me feel like, what did I do to deserve this? You know, they're really great at giving me feedback and helping like instill confidence in me in those moments. And I can't even describe it. And like you said, Ari told you to get me on this podcast.
Yeah.
He asked hair and makeup like before I was signed, like, hey, can you get Stori in? Hey, can you know, and or the runners to get me boots. And I'm like, what is happening? Because
it's like you're not going to ask the questions and you don't know who to ask.
Yes, exactly. And so they've been seriously so helpful. And it was crazy because Tony was the agent for my like first match, the dark match I had. Which is just crazy full circle moment too. And after every match we've been having, we sit down and watch what happened and they give me feedback, which I have no words. They are so helpful and I'm so grateful and it is so crazy. And they're just so great. Like when I was watching the match before I joined them too, I'm like, this is so fun. I'm so excited to be able to join like what they've created and what they've done. I just feel so honored that they want me to join like what they've built up so great. I don't know. And I tell them thank you so much. Literally last week, Tony was like, you don't have to say thank you that much, dude. I'm like, but I am thankful. I am thankful, you know? So, it's crazy.
Well, you know, talking about the other side of it, of course, you know, we're talking about the behind the scenes, but on camera, on screen, on TV, you can feel the chemistry between you guys like almost instantly. You know, how's it been developing all of that piece of it, and how are you feeling being out there with them?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. Like I said, I think this path that's like I'm walking is so insane and really helpful compared to just walking out there alone. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening? Like I have those guys out there with me every time, which makes it so great. But I'm really, really wanting to make like their vision for me come to life as well as like add what I can bring to the table. So I think that's been a beautiful challenge in a way of being patient with myself and seeing what I can change up and listening to their feedback to create like what they want, but also something that's authentic and like raw chemistry, you know?
So I just want to cut you off there because I feel like most people don't understand how important it is like to figure out yourself on TV because like you're still young. You're figuring out who you are as a person in the world, but then to figure out who you're portraying on TV is really, really freaking hard. And I love when people who are more green get paired into tag teams because you sort of get that like someone's protecting you or like, let's say, for instance, like you suddenly forget a spot and you need to be aware of something. Your tag partner can literally yell at you across the ring and it's like, oh, this is kayfabe. It's okay. Like I'm protected a little bit. Like it's just really great. But then also figuring out like it's almost like having a safety net. Like you're figuring out who you are, but you have this like construct you're working in within these like guys who are incredible athletes, which you are yourself. So you kind of know how you fit in there. And then it's just figuring out that little like, you're a 9, how do you fill in up to the 10? How does the person you are show through in whose story is on TV? And I think that's really, really important. A lot of people who aren't in wrestling don't understand like how difficult that is.
Yeah. Like I have two things. One, what you said about how having them out there helped me. The amount of times,
Yes.
and we're still very new into this, the amount of times
Yes.
they say something quick to me and it minimizes my mistakes. I'm like, thank you so much. Like
Mhm.
Tony literally last week was like, you better hurry up, get on it and go,
Mhm.
and then that triggers me to go instead of making the mistake of waiting too long for whatever. How I said I was a personality hire for my captain. I thought that was going to transfer really well. And when I first started training, I get into the ring and I'm like, it's gone. I don't have any personality and I'm boring. Like it was.
No, it's there. You just got to dig it out, and you're worried about other stuff
Yeah.
right now. But like when
Yeah.
you've got the comfort, that'll come through naturally. Like
Yeah.
it's so much like the being the vibe of the team is such an asset in an industry where you have to be a character on screen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to stay patient. But yeah, that was another part of my like up
It's
and
hard to
down.
be patient.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard. And especially like looking the way I do, I feel like there's these I mean, they're my shoes, but like I have to fill these huge shoes I'm wearing, and okay, analogy. And yeah, it feels like very high pressure. Like I want to not just be the tall girl, I want to be a great wrestler. And um, obviously being so new and being on TV and it's filmed and it's out there, it's like so many people are seeing this starter version of me. And I know in the future I'll like be grateful for it. But in the moment I'm like, oh, I want to be so great and I'm just not there yet. And it's frustrating at times, but yeah, just being patient.
That's honestly what I love about getting to do these podcasts at various stages of people's careers because, we have those situations where we're talking about somebody who's had a long, storied career and they're recapping with us, some of the biggest moments. And then we have those stories where somebody's in the midst of it. But then we get to do stories like this where we're literally talking with you at the beginning, early stages of it all. And I think that this is one of those types of podcasts where you get to look back at this one in a few years and be like, I have made so much progress since that point. This is just that beginning mile marker. And I think that's what's really cool about your story. And I'm trying to avoid like story puns, but I keep ending up with them.
I did it to myself. I'm doing it to you guys by making that the most said name in wrestling, just saying.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know what? You got to go out there and tell a story. And then you chime in and go, tell me what. So, one of the things that's becoming really popular in pro wrestling, especially in AEW and ROH, and it's really just been a thing this year, is the mixed trios matches. It's something that is really refreshing as far as I was just hearing from fans the other day talking about how much they loved seeing Jet Speed teaming with Willow Nightingale against Megan Bayne and FTR, that they were just over the moon about that. And the fact that, there are people saying, could we someday see a division of this? And the fact that you're kind of on the ground floor of it, that as this is something that's just now becoming a cool new thing in professional wrestling, here you are getting to team with the premier athletes and get to do these trios matches. One, what kind of learning experience do you feel you're getting in those matches? But two, how do you kind of grapple with the idea that this is also ultimately a whole new concept in pro wrestling in general?
Yeah. It's crazy. And even my first few matches, Mark was in his surgery and recovering, so I wasn't able to work with him. But the past few, he's been out there as well, and he adds a whole nother layer to it that I can learn from. I think all of their crowd work and crowd interaction, on top of the skill set and the knowledge that they all have, is so amazing. And then the fact that I'm like legit in a match. I'm not, which I mean, I'm fine with managing too. I have no issue with that, but it's very different than like me having my own match or them having their own match. Us finding a way to work together is so crazy. And exactly what you said. It's been really cool to like see more of them happening, and then be in them as well. And I'm excited. I mean, I would love that, to become, something big. But yeah, I just am very grateful, and it's a very unique experience that I'm experiencing. So we'll see.
It's really cool. And it's really cool to have you on this podcast now. And I'm already like, man, we're going to have her on in 3 years and it's going to be completely different. And the amount of lessons you've learned and the amount of cool opportunities you've had, it's going to be a long list and we're not even going to be able to get it through in another podcast. Like you've just got a really, really bright future. And I think you have a great head on your shoulders and you have a great outlook. Like you're grateful for everything that's happening. You're not rushing too fast and you're just feeling it in the moment. And I think that's honestly like how people can find success in wrestling. And I'm really proud of you. And I'm really glad you're a part of our roster.
Thanks. Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks. I'm so grateful to be here. And seriously, everyone has been so great. It's just, it's so great. I love it. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Yes, and we are so happy to have you in AEW. We're happy to have you in Ring of Honor. And we have been grateful to have you on this podcast. And folks, don't forget that this podcast right here, AEW Unrestricted, is sponsored in part by Upper Deck. And you can collect your favorite wrestlers in 2025 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap, autograph, memorabilia, or premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more, and you can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And you can check out video episodes on our YouTube channel at AEW Unrestricted. You can see our beautiful mugs. You can see Stori's beautiful mug. You can see her beautiful dog, and you can see all of that if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. It's AEW Unrestricted. And are you an AEW insider? Because you can get access to ticket pre-sales, special merchandise offers, and more straight to your inbox. Sign up today at AEWTix.com. And do not forget that AEW Dynamite is live every Wednesday night on TBS and streaming on Max. AEW Collision is live every Saturday on TNT and also streaming on HBO Max. ROH, where you can see Stori Denali, streams every Thursday on Honor Club. Otherwise, folks, I'm Will Washington. She is Aubrey Edwards. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Peace.